Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Any topic strikes to anybody?
ನಾವು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯರು ಮಹಾತ್ಮರನ್ನು ಕಂಡಾಗ ಅಥವಾ ನಮಸ್ಕರಿಸಿದಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಶಾಂತವಾಗಿರ್ತದೆ. ನಾನೇ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಹಾಗೆ ಮಹಾತ್ಮರು ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳು ಒಬ್ಬರಿಗೊಬ್ಬರು ಭೇಟಿಯಾದಾಗ ಅವರು ಹೇಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ, ಯಾವ ಆನಂದದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ.
When ordinary people we meet Mahatmas, we feel very, the mind becomes very still. So when Mahatmas meet Mahatmas, how is the experience?
In what way it is going to help us? Yeah. They must be feeling a sense of fraternity, a sense of. But in what way this is going to help in our sadhana? ಅದು ನಾವು ತಿಳಿದುಬಿಟ್ಟು ಏನು ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ? ಅವರ ಹಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಹೀಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸಂತೋಷ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ನಮಗೇನು ನಮ್ಮ ಸಾಧನೆಗೆ ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಪ್ರಯೋಜನವಾಗ್ತದೆ? ಸರಿಯಾಗಿದೆ. ಅದು ನಾವು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಏನು ನಾವು ಮಾಡಲಿ ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಸಾಧನೆಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಅದು ಪ್ರಯೋಜನವಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲದ್ರೆ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಹೌ ಡು ಐ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರೆಸ್? They will be happy, one Mahatma, when he meets another Mahatma, he will be happy. Recently, before going to Hyderabad, we stayed for 10 days in an ashram called Shanti Ashram. That is also in Andhra Pradesh. Every day we had a wonderful satsang, 6 to 7, no talk. They will read a few lines from the quotations of Swami Omkarji Maharaj, who was the founder, and then our Sundar will chant Ram Nam. We used to chant Ram Nam in the mantra rupa, and then it will be totally an inward journey. But on the 21st, which happened to be Swamiji's Jayanti day, Swami Padmanabhanji and both of us shared some thoughts. A few of it was a lengthy talk, but we will try to take out something for today's discussion. There is a Samadhi Mandir. Attached to the Samadhi Mandir is the Satsang hall. But as we enter the Samadhi Mandir, there is something written on the door. Swami is dead. Omkar is alive in all of you. He is addressed as Swami Omkarji. Swami is dead. Omkar is alive in all of you. Many of you might be knowing that Om in Bhagavad Gita says, everything starts from Om. Omkar means Om means is the base, the origin, the substratum, the prop, the support of everything. Actually, not that he is named as Omkar. The Swami was born in 1994. 1894. And then in 1917, he has set up this ashram. Just think about it. 1917. 1894 he was born. So that means 23rd year. He had been to Himalayas. I will briefly read out so that you know. Right from morning till evening, all of us are made to involve in various types of activities. Though by God's grace, facilities are offered to us to get ourselves connected with spiritually evolved souls, Shastras, Satsang, when we are back to our usual field of activities, the impact of the former is not there much. So there should be some periodical reminders to bring in this dimension behind our family life, professional life, social life. That is why our well-meaning people have set up certain traditions like celebrating the Jayanti, observing the Samadhis, etc., etc. On that particular day, along with the usual routine preoccupations, usual commitments, we also remember something more that is added to it. Like today, when we say it is the 129th Jayanti of Param Puja of Sri Omkarji Maharaj, the mind gets kindled to think about the transition that took place in the life of Sri Venkatrao to Swami Omkarji. His name was Venkatrao. He was also, just like all of us, brought up by the society. But at the same time, the divine calling came to him at such an early age that he was motivated to think about the origin of himself and the world. And that made him, as Puja Swami Padmanabhananji said, not to lead a life centered on the sense of individuality, but an expanded life. His life is thus a textbook for us to know how to expand from the limited to the unlimited. God now gives us an opportunity on days like this, the need to expand from the present level to a higher level, so that the impact of which will remain with us steadily. We all have passed through our childhood, middle age, and many of us are at the evening of our life. We have to ask ourselves whether the expansion process is taking place in our life. In the case of Swami Omkarji Maharaj, who was born in 1894, the process got hastened in his very early life itself, and that resulted in setting up this ashram, his Shanti ashram, in 1917. He did not think about his individual life or his family life. He did not plan anything for himself. Right from the beginning, the clarity was that life is meant for expansion. In the third shloka of Viveka Chudamani, Adi Shankara says, Durlabam trayame vaitad Daivanugraha hetukam Manishyatvam mumukshatvam Mahavrusha samshayaha. We might not have understood that the human birth is a gift of God, but Swami Omkarji understood this at such an early stage that this is a God-given opportunity to expand from limited to the unlimited, the finite to the infinite. Everyone has been given this life as ordained by him. But we think that we are the planners, we are the doers, we are the people who are executing our plans, we are safeguarding ourselves, we are bringing welfare to ourselves, etc. But we hardly bring in the dimension of the power of God, who is the very basis and substratum of our existence. Today, Swami Omkarji Maharaj reminds us, by his life, even at that early age, instead of getting prioritized from the various aspects of individual life, he was able to connect himself to the universal reality. And that did not come just like that. He paid the price in the form of self-denial and severe austerities. He reminds us today that the expansion from the individual to the universal is not that easy. In our case, we have unknowingly caged ourselves within the toils of individualism. And that is why we feel it very difficult to get out of this. Swami Omkarji Maharaj assures us that with self-denial, perseverance, commitment to the ideal, it does not become impossible, it does become possible. He also teaches us expansion does not mean limiting our activities by sitting in one place, but includes reaching out to God's creation in as many ways as possible. That is why we see Shanti Ashram not only in Totapalli but also in Kotagiri, Visakhapatnam, Pitapuram, Vishwakendra. He did not limit himself even to these centers. He is reaching out to the minds of a number of people in India and abroad. Puja Swami Padmanabhananji said earlier, the presence of a saint invisibly sheds his rays on all those who are made to come in contact with him. Similarly, on Swamiji Maharaj's birthday today, we are motivated to think one's life should not be limited to time-bound, space-bound, as mentioned by Puja Swami Padmanabhananji. We also learn that Swamiji Maharaj was not following any traditions like accepting sannyas from somebody or named by somebody. During his early days in Himalayas, when people watched that his thrust was on the holy and all-powerful Omkara, Om, Om, Om. This was what he was doing. People called him as Swami Omkarji. Swamiji Maharaj assumed sannyas as prompted from within like beloved Papa Swami Ramdas. Swamiji Maharaj reminds us this day that the purpose of the human birth is to know him, to realize him, to enjoy his presence always, which can be had only by surrendering to him totally. Puja Swami Padmanabhanandaji was sharing that Om is the beginning of the creation. So here Swamiji Maharaj was prompted to go to the source right from the beginning. And he got immersed in it. With the result, others identified him as the personification of the original Om. Now, as soon as we enter the Samadhi Mandir here, we see it is written, Swami is dead, Omkar is alive in all of you. We must have been reading this many a time. But on this particular day, he makes us to think deeply about the importance of these words. So what does it mean? He is called Swami Omkar. So here it is written here, his word. Swami is dead. Omkar is alive in all of you. Each one can think out. That will help us in our sadhana. Don't worry whether it is right or wrong. Whatever prompting that comes, you share.
The body is perishable, is there.
Huh? Body has to go, so body. But
The individual and all-pervading, the Omkar is
the indwelling reality is in all of us. Anything else? Anything else strikes to anybody?
Means we are all one.
Huh?
Means we are all one.
We are all one. We are all one. Then, no?
Omkar is Nirguna.
Omkar is Nirguna. Body is Saguna. Okay. Yes? Anything else? Divine power. Yes. This will help us, that word. Every time we may forget, we are again thinking that we are the individual. The bodies come and go, but that is always there, that soul. That which makes the word to come out now. That which makes the hand move. That which makes the eyes to see now. The ears to hear now. That which makes the hand move. That which makes the eyes to see now, the ears to hear now, that power is eternal. By the expression, Swami is dead, Omkar is alive in all of you, Swamiji Maharaj brings out this deep, profound, very thought-provoking dimension on this day. Swamiji Maharaj just makes us think about it intensely to get ourselves connected to him. Puja Swami Padmanabhananji was reading, the purpose of this remembrance is to get connected. Now we understand that the birthday is the link to God remembrance. God remembrance is the origin, the support, the base of everything, the power behind everything. And the moment we who come from Anandashram think about Shanti Ashram or Swami Omkarji Maharaj, what wells up in our mind is the peace prayer, adorable presence. That's the first word. Adorable presence. Sannidhyam. Which is recited every day during the Arati time. In a moment of great inspiration, this many of you may not know, in a moment of great inspiration, the solitude of the Himalayas, this inspiring prayer was conceived. This prayer is the golden link uniting the individual with the universal, as it invokes blessings for all people in west and east and west, north and south. As we fervently repeat the prayer, we begin to feel the presence of God in the eye, the heart, mind, breath, life and soul. The prayer everybody knows, adorable presence, thou who art within and without, above and below and all around, thou who art interpenetrating the very cells of our being, thou who art the eye of our eyes, ear of our ears, heart of our hearts, mind of our minds, breath of our breaths, soul of our soul. Bless us, dear God, to be aware of thy presence now and here. This is all that we ask of thee. So in here, he gives a direct, direct clue, not mixing up with any tall talk. You are the eye of the eye, that which makes me to see. Adorable presence, that power, interpenetrating the very cells of our being. So suddenly we look within. Yes, the heart is beating, the breathing is going on, the blood circulation is going on, the digestion is going on, so many such activities are going on, but our sense of individuality has no role in them. Swamiji Maharaj asks us to look within and feel that the force that pulsates, activates, motivates, articulates is the Omkar. So we don't have to search for anything outside because we have been given a wonderful equipment called this body, mind, intellects. And through it, we can go to the source of all sources. The word here and now, as well as he is interpenetrating the very cells of your being, is in the peace prayer is very touching. That means there is no need for other factors to feel his presence. In this connection, we also remember one word of Papa. Normally, when we get in touch with a spiritually evolved soul, a Mahatma, all of us will develop affinity toward that form. We revere that form, we love that form, we admire that form. Unknowingly, we get attached to that form. That has happened everywhere. Here also it has happened. So one day in the Satsang, Papa emphatically declared this. We placed these photos, So, some people see God in temple images only, not outside. In the early stages, this is natural. One place is holy, another place is not. Temples are holy, mosques are holy, other places are not. It is better to get over that and feel the divine presence everywhere. When you see God in photos of Papa and Mataji, why not in the other pictures also? You must see them in yourself everywhere. The sooner you come to realize God as indwelling and all-pervading, the better. The photos may kindle some divine emotions, but you must not stop with that. Because Papa Mataji are everywhere, God is everywhere, you are everywhere. Swami Omkarji said, Swami is dead, Omkarji is alive in all of you. So same thing, Papa is bringing out in a different verb. Papa Mataji is everywhere. God is everywhere. You are everywhere. So we definitely know it is not from the body point, because this cannot be everywhere. So that which is behind this sense of individuality, think about it. The photos may kindle Papa Mataji are everywhere, God is everywhere, you are everywhere. The sense of otherness sets limit to the illimitable. That is what you did in Anandashram. You must get that awareness. Papa is not only in your pockets or in your room. If you want really to get him, you must see him everywhere. You have put Papa on the wall in a frame. Make your heart a temple. God is within you. He is always there. That is why for a change in this hall we don't have any photo. We have only the words of our master. Because at least there should be one room where we don't have any photos. Otherwise, how will we know that without photo, without something external prop, we can proceed with our spiritual life? Many of us may think so. Many people sit outside. That is good. They are one with the Mother Nature. But when we go to Bhajan Hall, Samadhi Mandir, or even to next room, there are a lot of photos. As Papa said, it will touch and kindle good emotions in us. And later on, what happens to us, we have to see. We have been looking at the photo for quite a long time now, for years, for decades. So initially, Papa says those are all necessary. It may kindle. He does not even say. Photos may kindle some divine emotions. But you must not stop with that. The sooner you realize, the sooner you come to realize God as indwelling and all-pervading, the better. So this is exactly what Omkarji Maharaj was indirectly telling us. Papa used to say that there are 4 stages in spiritual life. One is to feel his nearness, second is to feel his presence, third is to feel his presence in everyone, and fourth and final is to become one with him. Swamiji Maharaj, through this wonderful prayer, makes us aware of the indwelling reality in us. As you come to the words, "Bless me, dear God," pause for a moment and perceive his omnipresence both within and without. Pause at the words, "peace and goodwill," and affirm peace and peace within goodwill. And affirm peace and peace within, goodwill among others, goodwill among nations. Whatever Swamiji Maharaj experienced within came out in the words of this peace prayer. 2 clues Swamiji Maharaj is giving now. One is that when we recite the prayer initially, first time, second time, third time or fourth time, we are inspired. But later on when we make it as a regular practice, it becomes unknowingly, unwittingly mechanical. We can look at ourselves. For how many years we have been repeating this adorable present? Has it gone deep into ourselves? Every time when we say adorable presence, we ask ourselves whether we are feeling his presence every time. Swamiji Maharaj gently reminds us that the real purpose of uttering this prayer should have some deep impact. Another message he gives us subtly is the prayer should be self-originated. We have been reading his prayer, treating it as Swami Omkarji's prayer. It is not our prayer. In computer language we say Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V for copy and paste. That will not have its deep impact. So Swamiji Maharaj is giving us a message that you go through this prayer again and again and again with the right perspective and try to bring out your own prayer in your own language. At the end, after reciting the prayer, we have been asked to close our eyes, forget the outer world and merge within. And thus taste the peace that passeth all understanding in the stillness of our purified heart. At the end, after reciting the prayer, we have been asked to close our eyes, forget the outer world and merge within, and thus taste the peace that passeth all understanding in the stillness of our purified heart. Pujya Swami Padmanabhananji was telling about the purified heart. We need a little explanation about it. Anything that is connected with me and mine is impure. Our effort is to make it move from me to we, which means purity. Because we owe everything to this creation, and through the creation to the Creator. In the book, In the Hours of Silence, in 34th chapter, Swamiji Maharaj says, very touching, how can I forget thee? Is it possible to forget thee? How can I forget thee when thou art sparkling in my eyes, thinking in my mind, throbbing in my heart, flowing in every breath? Forgetfulness is possible only in duality. Duality is ignorance, and it is only due to ignorance in duality does one think that God is separate and far away. Forgetfulness is not only forgetfulness is not only possible, but it is inevitable in duality. What makes me move brings things down to earth. What makes me move is thou. What makes me silent, waveless is thou. How impossible it is to forget thee. So on this 129th Jayanti day, Pujya Swamiji is making us to think about the importance of the prayer which he has given to all of us, which he made us to repeat, which he makes us to enjoy. If we don't repeat it one day, we feel something is missing. But now Swamiji says, don't stop there. When we are inspired by the presence of a great Mahatma, his teachings, his words of wisdom, naturally an attachment to the form develops. Unknowingly, we confine the Mahatma to a form. It's a concept, or as a concept in our mind. It is natural. Every now and then, an effort has to be made that the individual is not an individual, but the individual is also the universal. Meaning, through the individual, we are connected to the universal aspect. Many of us forget this. So probably to get over our limiting the Mahatma to the form, Puja Swami Chidanji Maharaj, in one of his inspiring articles, amplified about Gurudev Shivanandaji's eternal presence. How to move from the individual to the universal. We have no substitute to the word with Swami Omkarji Maharaj in the praise of Gurudev Swami Shivanandaji Maharaj. The real concept of Swami Omkarji. Swami Omkarji's presence is not only confined to the Samadhi hall, it's not only pervasive in this holy Shanti Ashram at Totapalli, Vizag, Vishwashanti Kshetram, Kotagiri, Kakinada, Pitapuram, but it lives and moves in and through us. We carry his presence when we adhere to truthfulness. We carry his presence when we are kind, considerate and compassionate. We carry his presence when we refuse to swerve even 1 inch from the path of purity. We carry his presence vibrantly, dynamically, forcefully when we live our life in a divine manner with a determination, humble intention, firm resolve and all sincerity and earnestness. When we are trying to pursue a divine way of living in thought, word and action, we are manifesting Swami Omkarji Maharaj. We are a vibrant center of that which the world knows as Swami Omkarji. We become a lamp through which his light shines. We become the vessel to hold the living waters of his spirituality, his sublime spiritual teachings. Let us not therefore confine Swami Omkarji to the Samadhi Mandir and the Shanti Ashram at Totapalli, Vizag, Vishwashanti Kshetram, Kotagiri, Kakinada, Pitapuram. Make ourselves a vehicle of his living presence so that our life, by our life, others also become awake and illumined. They feel his divine presence through our life and their life is also divinized. We move amongst this world of men as the candle imparting our light to anyone whom God brings us in contact with. Normally in our prayer we used to say beginningless and endless, Adi Antareda. But still we have been initiated into the process only through a form. So there is a relevance for the form, which is transient, which has got a beginning and an end. But the beginningless and endless reality can be known only through a form that has got a beginning and an end. So what is it that is beginningless and endless? What is it which has a beginning and an end is taught by Swami Omkarji Maharaj today. That is why he said, every day is a birthday. When we raise ourselves from the individual level to a higher level, every day is a birthday. And when we come down to the individual level, there is birth and death. So we are praying to him, as prompted by him, to think on these lines. We pray to him, you are seated within us in the form of remembrance now. Kindly enable us to understand your sublime teachings and to gradually lift us from the present level of me and mine to a higher level and then to the highest level. We are deeply grateful for having been given this wonderful experience of sharing these thoughts on this very auspicious day. He facilitated everything to us to be here. Dwell on these thoughts, make a fervent prayer to him to enable us to live up to what is expected of us. May his blessings be ever on all of us so that our spiritual journey gets hastened and reaches the final goal of eternal happiness. It was quite a lengthy 1 hour, but so many points have been covered. So today we are trying to understand what are the points. Need not be in the chronological order. Nothing comes to your mind?
You're a vibrant center of what you call Swami Omkarji when you are having all those qualities.
Hmm.
Papa also says, Papa, Mataji is everywhere, God is everywhere. You are everywhere.
Huh?
Swami is dead.
Swami is there
Hmm.
in all of you.
Swami is dead, Omkar is in all of that. Then that itself is enough, Very powerful word. And then anything else?
With that power, we are seeing, hearing the power.
All our sadhanas are to get connected to that power.
All our sadhanas?
Or to get connected to that power. In the finite, there is a infinite.
All our sadhanas are for finally connecting ourselves to that power. This is very important because we concentrate on the methodology, For example, in our case, chanting. But chanting is to connect ourselves with Him. That we feel. Bhajan is to connect ourselves with Him. Arati is to connect ourselves with Him. Reading of the prayer is to connect ourselves with Him. Doing various types of seva activities in ashram is to connect us with Him. That aspect we forget. We take it as Ramnam session, bhajan program, Arati program, morning, Guru Stuti program, Vishnu Sahasranam program.
Expansion.
Everything is to connect ourselves with Him. If visitors come and if we give prasad, it is to connect with Him. If we share some thoughts with the visitors, we have to connect with them. So every time this should be very important word. That day, Swami Padmanabhanji spoke first. So in his speech he covered this very important item. Early morning when Puja Jnaneshwari Mataji shared the message, she read out Swami Omkarji's words also. So Padmanabhanji Maharaj was bringing out 3-4 important points from that write-up. But the most essential thing is, the cardinal thing, the salient thing, the most important thing is that whatever we do is to connect ourselves with Him. Our mind, has got a trick of dragging us away from that and involving in activities. Instead of any other activity, this activity is good, no doubt. That is the primary stage. But then we are watching ourselves, we are not moving toward the goal. For ages we have been doing, right? In our case, right from our Vishnu Sahasranam, Guru Stuti, flower offering, bhajan, Om Namo Bhagavate Arunachala, Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, everything we are, Arati, prayer reading, everything is going on. But it has become a part of the program. The part of the program is to connect ourselves with it. That is very important, very important. So first is, Swami is dead, Omkar is alive. Second is connecting ourselves. Then expansion. In such a tender age, in 23rd year, can you imagine? He just lost, he allowed himself to be lost in Himalayas. Nothing to fall back upon excepting Om, 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 Om. And he could get stabilized in it. We were stunned when we saw the 1917. Could it be a mistake? Again we checked up. Then we came to know that he was born in 1894. This ashram was set up in 1931. So severe austerities, and relying on Om. And Om stands for that origin. It is not merely a mantra he was chanting. It is a mantra representing the origin. Omityekaksharam Brahma, no? In Bhagavad Gita it clearly says, it is from that, Akara, Ukara, Makaram. That is how Om. So he was able to concentrate. See, in our case, we are reading so many things, we see so many Mahatmas, we go to so many ashrams, and ultimately we are nowhere now, no? We have some memories, we can reproduce, but here he directly got connected to the Om, the source, and he was dwelling on it to get himself steadied in it. And then he came out. And he named the outcome as peace. That is why it is called Peace Mission. No, his ashram is called Peace Mission, Shanti Ashram. Shanti stands for peace. So peace is the expression of that source. Papa used to say, peace is yourself. Then, anything else? Swami is dead, Omkar is alive in all. We have to connect ourselves, everything with him, and then Om stands for the source of all sources. He was very clear right from the beginning that Om stands for the source of all sources. Source of the sense of individuality, source of the world. So he could straight away go to the source. And then 3 points. Any other point? Though Swami is dead, Swami means body. Though the Omkar that stands for the Adi Antarahita, we also say here every day, no? Adi Antarahita, Parama Puja Papa. You are all pervading. You are manifested as the entire universe. You reside in everything. All those things we repeat. But to repeat that Adi Antarahita, that beginningless and endless, we need a form who has got a beginning and an end. So we don't belittle the importance of the finite body also, the finite individual also. If that individual has not given us, how will we think? So it is a beautiful one. That means not negating anything that is before us. Everything has got a relevance. So there is a date of birth and a date of death for all of us. At the same time, this form, which has got a beginning and is going to have an end, can only understand the beginningless and endless reality. Think about it. It's another thought. So we respect the forms, we are grateful to the forms, we revere that form for having connected us to the ultimate, at least at the intellectual level now. Later on, depending upon our intensity, we will get slowly connected to it experientially. That was another point. Then, any other point?
Adorable presence. Adorable presence.
Then presence. Then,
We have to avoid steam on images. We need to avoid steam on pictures or images.
Holding on to the form. We must avoid.
we should try. We should transcend. At the same time, we don't belittle or look down upon it.
Infinite expression, infinite.
Swami Vivekananda, when after the Mahasamadhi of Bhagavan Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, when he went out, he established Ramakrishna Mission, Ramakrishna Mutt. 14 or 15 direct disciples were there. Everything was okay. But after so many years, when he was in Alps mountain, he told one of his devotees or admirers, followers, that you try to locate something like this in Himalayas, a lonely place, where there should be no photo. And they, foreign devotees, they came and then they searched. And in a place called Mayavati in Almora, they found an estate. A lot of lands are there. No building, only one building is there. They found and they bought that land for Swamiji and then informed Swamiji about it. And Swamiji could stay there only for 15-16 days. As soon as he entered, in one room, a small photo was kept of Bhagavan. So he said, oh, this old man is here again. Because he wanted, at least there should be one place where rest of the things he did not disturb. One place where you are trying to rely on the Guru within. So far you were relying on the Guru without. That will not take us to the goal. To take us to the goal, we should try to see him in our own heart. This was highlighted by that. Even now they don't have many photos in all rooms, nothing like that. They try to keep up that legacy. Because forms help us, but form becomes an hindrance after some stage. Because our mind has a tendency to go out to the form. Even when we are trying to go within to still the thoughts, to think about the Nirguna Nirakar aspect, the nameless, formless aspect, forms will come to us. Unless we are so vigilant. Yes, that point was also discussed. Again we will go through. Swami is dead, Omkar is alive. All our activities are to connect ourselves with him.
Om is the source of everything.
Om is the source of everything. He also, in the shortest possible time, how could he, in this 20th year he must have, or 21st year he must have scaled, if he has established the ashram in 23rd. Prime youth, just imagine. That means he had that much self-control, not allowing the sense organs to run after sense objects. He was able to bring them to the source within. And that is why he was able to sit and chant Om, 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 like that. Then, anything else we discussed?
Our prayer must be original.
Why? We are trying to understand now. For years, decades we are repeating. Why is it that we are not trying to go, probing to why? How does the eye see now? How does the ear hear now? How does the tongue taste? How does the nose smell? How does the skin touch? How does the mind think? In spite of it, we don't do that, no? Every day, so that means the prayer we are reading, with all said and done, though it is an inspiring prayer, it is the prayer written by somebody, it does not become mine. He brought it out because of his revelation, the experience he had. The experience he had came out in the form of a prayer. Similarly, unless and until we draft our own prayer based on our own experience, it will not become 100% effective. No? That is how we take it. Looking at ourselves, we are taking it like that. Self-originated prayer. Nice to read, nice to remember, nice to reproduce, nice to repeat in forums. But what is happening to me as a sadhaka? So, and then any other point? This he has written somewhere. After reciting the poem, close your eyes, forget the outer world, and merge within. Even if it is for a quarter of a second, so that the impact of the prayer remains at least for a quarter of a second. To ensure that it doesn't just go, anything that we do, suppose there is a pause. There is a pause moment and we dwell on it. Not that everything we will be remembering, but something we will remember. So he says, after reciting the prayer, close your eyes, forget the outer world, merge within, and taste the peace that passeth all understanding in the stillness of a purified heart. And then his revelations, he couldn't contain. How can I forget thee? Is it possible to forget thee? When thou art sparkling in my eyes, thinking in my mind, throbbing in my heart, flowing in every breath, how can I forget? Bah. How can I forget thee? Is it possible to forget thee? When thou art sparkling in my eyes, thinking in my mind, throbbing in my heart, flowing in every breath, how can I forget thee? Forgetfulness is possible only in duality. duality is ignorance. It is only due to ignorance in duality, that's one thing that God is separate. So many points, already we are 4:30. So this Jayanti day reminds us of all these things, So when we, in our case, when we remember about the Jayanti of Papa, Mataji, Swamiji, Mahasamadhi day, Sannyas day, all these things are relevant. In April, when just now Mataji's Mahasamadhi day took place, has it made any impact on us? Honestly, we have to ask ourselves. So let us all try to retain as much as possible and make it a reality in our life. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram. Jai Jai Ram Om. 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 Om Shri Ram Jai Ram. Jai Jai Ram.